Good day, viewers. Welcome to Epsiba Show. Today I'll be talking on the topic intimacy. In my last video, I mentioned the three basics of every relationship and marriage, and I mentioned passion, intimacy, and commitment. And today I'll be talking on the topic intimacy. Intimacy is a process or a feeling of being in a close relationship with someone. Intimacy is not the kind of relationship you have with your friends or your neighbors or people around you. It is a relationship that involves two people when they're in close relationship with each other. There are three aspects of intimacy that are very important. The adjective of intimacy, the noun of intimacy, and the verb intimacy. The verb intimacy means to make known. The noun intimacy is the person that you are knowing. It's the person you are in a close relationship with. And the adjective of intimacy is the knowledge of the person, the knowledge of that person you are in a close relationship with. These three aspects of intimacy, they are very important for every intimate relationship. And then also, I'm also going to be talking on the three types of intimacy. This is where it gets very interesting. The three types of intimacy: the physical intimacy, which is the physics of relationship; the chemistry intimacy, which is the emotional intimacy. The emotional intimacy is also the chemistry of intimacy. The chemistry of intimacy, which involves the aspect of getting to know your partner. It's a process where your emotions are now involved, your feelings are now involved in that relationship. And also the cognitive or intellectual intimacy. That is when you start to share your ideas with each other. Now I will start with the physical intimacy. The physical intimacy is the one most people are always aware of in their relationships, which involve the kissing, the hugging. Some people go very fast with their relationships, and once you just meet the person, you want to start everything. Like I said, intimacy is a process. You don't start it in a day and want it to end in just that one day. You're meeting your partner and you will just start dating and you just want to start kissing and hugging and everything. It's a process. It takes a process. It's gradually built. Now, in physical intimacy, which is the physics of intimacy, we understand that physics is a natural science, and physics is gotten from the ancient Greek word, which means the knowledge of nature. Knowledge of nature is a natural science that involves the study of matter. The study of matter. And that matter there now is the noun of intimacy, which is the person you are in a close relationship with. It is that natural part of you that wants to know your partner. The natural parts of you that make you to search, to try to inquire, to know things about your partner, to get to know your partner. And this physical intimacy is usually done by means of kissing, hugging, holding of hands, and other sexual activities. Now, in this physical intimacy, I'm going to be talking on three main aspects of physical intimacy, which involves relationships with sex, relationships without sex, and then distant relationships. Now, relationships without sex. I'm going to start with relationships without sex. Okay, I have some case studies today, but I'm not going to be mentioning names of these people. But I went and researched and interviewed them, and I got their views on relationships without sex. There's this friend of mine, and the two of them are my friends. They are married now for 2 years, and for almost 2 years. Sorry. And in their relationship, they dated for 6 years. And these 6 years, they did not have sex with each other. It was a relationship without sex. Now, I'm going to be reading what he told me. I jotted it down because I want to read to you exactly how he said it to me. Because I asked him, is it really possible to have a relationship without sex? 6 years, how did you do it? Like, don't you get feelings? Don't you get the urge? Don't you feel horny? And sometimes you really just want to do this sex. But he told me something, and I'm going to read it to you. He said, relationships without sex. He said to me, Esther, it's good. He said it wasn't easy, but grace, self-control, and mercy was at work in us. We built common ground. He was talking about him and his partner. We built common ground, set our boundaries from the day she agreed to date me, and we kept it. Now, they set their rules and they walked by the rules. They set their boundaries and they walked by it. We learned to be satisfied in ourselves. We place values in our bodies. We satisfy ourselves by hugging intimately, sending nice hot pictures to us alone. We don't share with the public, of course. Commended our body parts, kissed softly, hold hands tightly. We were never scared of having sex because it wasn't the priority. Also, transparency, not hiding anything from each other. I tell you, I tell her when another lady tries to flirt with me or is having a crush on me, she also tells me, and I always tell her too, whenever I'm feeling horny and why I can't hug her tightly at times. He said there are times he feels horny, of course, he's human, but he doesn't get to hug her tightly if she's around at those times in order not to break those boundaries that they've set. They set their boundaries. They were always very transparent with each other. He explained to me, he said he always tells her whatever he feels, whatever he's feeling, and at the time he's feeling it for her. They admire their body parts. He tells her what he loves about her body, but they end up not having this sex. And this was how they maintained it for 6 years. They shared thoughts with each other. They shared pictures with each other. Communication. They were maintaining a strong communication, talking to each other all the time. And they kissed softly, like he said. They held hands several times. And this was how they were able to make it through for 6 years without the sex. That means it is possible to have a relationship without sex. And today they are married. Okay, now, talking about relationship with sex, I also have a case study. Like I said, I won't be mentioning names. Now, this lady has been in 3 different relationships. Now, each of our relationships, she was involved, she was having sex with her partners, like probably maybe after some weeks or months when they meet. Now, our first relationship, she had sex with him severally, sometimes weekly, sometimes monthly. And they dated for a period of like 3 months. And what happened in their relationship? When they started having sex, she was very plain with me. She told me they started observing differences in each other. And, you know, distrust started coming in. Because sometimes she started having feelings that he's with someone else. Sometimes he's always accusing her of trying to date somebody else also. And because of that, they started having some difficulties and bringing up arguments were coming up. And she was like, that's really the backbone, the main thing that led to the breakup of their relationship. Because trust was no longer really there. Because, you know, she got to understand he was someone that really loves sex. And sometimes when she's away for a period of time that she is quite sure that he cannot do without the sex, she tried to get a feeling that he has gotten it from someone else. And that was how the relationship could not work. Now, the second relationship she entered into, of course, they were also having sex too. She told me that she had this knowledge that sex will hold your relationship, that sex will make your relationship work. Fine, sex is one of the physical types of intimacy. Of course, it's meant to hold the relationship. But now, when you're already having this sex, when you're not married to your partner, it has some implications, and this is one of it. The second relationship she got into, they dated for like a year, and of course was always having sex. And she had 2 abortions for him because she got pregnant. Now, unwanted pregnancy. So many people out there already know about getting pregnant in relationship. And of course, some girls out there are like, I'm smart, I can't get pregnant, or when I get pregnant, I know what to do to it. Now, her first abortion was successful. The second abortion she had, like few weeks after the abortion, or like 2 months thereabout, she told me she began to have some abdominal pains, like stomach pain, like in the layman's English. She started having some stomach pain, and she was rushed to the hospital. The pain was so severe, and all. She was rushed to the hospital and all. After the ultrasound that was done for her, they discovered she had ovarian cyst. She had ovarian cyst, which was like implication of the abortion she had few months ago. And due to that, one of her ovary was removed. She was operated upon, and one of her ovary was removed. Now, few months later, she still went ahead and was still dating this guy after removing her ovary. Now, few months later, this guy impregnated a girl, and they had to break up because the girl's parents, of course, they had to marry the girl, and they had to break up. And now today they are not together. But she already lost some part of her body. This is one of the other implications of having sex in a relationship. Now, having sex in a relationship, the first thing, you're prone to different kinds of infections. And there are some female infections, the female reproductive system infections that later in the future can predispose you to cancers. Yes, it's medically proven. and also the unwanted pregnancies, getting pregnant and doing abortions, and then the health implications, the post-abortion implications. I met a girl about 5 years ago in the hospital when I visited a friend of mine that was admitted in the hospital. This girl, her name was, okay, I said I wouldn't mention names. She's actually late. She died at my very presence. She was the only child. Her mom was there by her bedside at her dying bed. She was looking at her mom. She couldn't talk. She was not able to talk, but tears was just coming out of her eyes. She was feeling so sorry. She had an abortion. She got pregnant and aborted the baby, and she had post-abortion sepsis. It's like an infection after due to abortion, and this post-abortion sepsis led to her death. She died before my very presence that year. And this happened to be the only child of her mom. This is just few among many other implications of sex out there. Today, you see a lot of girls involved in so many sexual activities just because of some things you want to earn. I was telling my friends, I'm always telling them anyways, that today there are things you want to acquire that you can just get. Like, I remember when I was very little, I always wanted a bicycle, and my parents always told me that if I pass my exams in school, they're going to buy the bicycle for me. But at that point, they couldn't get me the bicycle I wanted. But today I can afford the bicycle. Now, there are a lot of girls out there that there are some things today you can actually afford. But yesterday, you had to have sex with your boyfriend or somebody that is not your boyfriend just to get these things. Because of phones, I remember when BlackBerry came out, so many girls, they did a lot of things. Some of them are suffering the implications of those sexual activities they engaged in because they wanted to get a BlackBerry. Today, BlackBerries, even a poor guy can kind of get a BlackBerry. And these are few among many other implications of sex. Well, I'm not here to criticize having sex in a relationship, but I just want you to understand the implications of it, why you really want to engage in it, in your relationship, and look at the possible relationships you've had, that you had sex. What was the outcome? Did he end up in marriage? Are you married now to someone you were sleeping with in your relationship? Or maybe something happened. Okay, that's about relationship with sex. And now, distant relationship. Now, the case study for my distant relationship is a young lady. She's married for 2 years now, and she's still like presently in school. She has been away from her husband for 2 years, but of course she saw him after a year, and now she's in another second year without her husband with her. Now, she also told me some interesting things that I wrote down also that I'm going to be reading to you about distant relationship. She said that, okay, she has been dating. She dated a guy for 2 years and they got married. And now this is the second year of their marriage. She said the reason why our marriage has worked, even our period of courtship, we courted while we were far away. We were far apart. He was in another country and she was in another country, but they dated for 2 years and their relationship worked, and she trusted him enough to marry him despite the distance. Of course, during that period of 2 years, they were able to meet. Now, she said that number one thing that worked, sacrifice. She said for your trust to be built in a distance from your partner, you have to learn to sacrifice some things. She said she had some friends then that her husband, her boyfriend then, her fiance then, was not comfortable with, and she had to cut relationship with them. She had to cut those friendships. He told her he was not comfortable with them around her, and she had to sacrifice some of those friends just for our relationship to work. Now, that is trust. For him to trust her the more, she had to do that sacrifice. And now, she said, also, communication is very important to make a relationship work. Now, if you're dating someone that is far from you, I tell you, communication is very important. You have to communicate with your partner as often as you can. If making calls is difficult for you to your partner, then sometimes you can even flash. You know, you can just flash your partner to know, okay, I'm thinking about you, I still have you in mind. You can flash him. Sometimes you can send messages. Thank God for the social medias this day. They've made it very easy. You have your WhatsApp, you have your BlackBerry Messenger, there's Facebook Messenger. There are lots of means of communicating with your partner. This communication is very, very important. Now, another thing she told me was self-control. She said to me that if you have to always think every time that your partner is doing something out there, then you're not going to trust him, and it's going to affect your relationship. And if you feel your partner is cheating on you and you also want to cheat, then you two are just going to be deceiving yourself. She told me that she never paid attention to if he was cheating, but she worked on her own self and she made sure that she was not cheating on him. She exercised self-control. She told me it's very important that so many people will try to flirt with you, but you have to make sure you have self-control. And also, she talked about transparency. She said he's always telling her everything. Sometimes when another lady is calling him, he puts the call on a conference call for her to listen to the conversation if another lady is trying to flirt with him or having a crush on him. Now, if he can do all this, then of course she will trust him, you know. And she tells him everything too. They don't hide anything from each other. Everything. They share everything together. And she also said to me that they always, like, quite often they have Skype calls. Now, Skype calls is a particular app that allows you to view your partner wherever he is in the world. You guys can have a video and talk to each other, gist with each other, have this fun. You know, when you're having Skype call with someone, it's as though the person is even just near you, like you're with that person. You get to gist about a lot of things. Tell the person how your day went, what happened today, what are you going through. Express yourself to your partner. Don't ever hide anything from your partner. When you start hiding, then you don't want the relationship to be well built. So you don't get to hide anything from your partner. Now, she also talked about a team viewer. This is very interesting. A team viewer is a particular app that makes you to be able to access your partner's system. It gives you the privilege of accessing everything in your partner's system. You people are connecting your computers together. You can actually log into your partner's computer and see everything there. This is just the height of trust. Because out there today, some partners, they can't even share their phones. They can't share their laptops. They don't want him to know the messages they're receiving or who else is sending them some other messages and all. But this app, she said, enables her to access her partner's system, and he also accesses her system also. He logs in to her system at times at night because she enables the camera, and sometimes he watches her sleep. Even now that they are married, sometimes he just logs in the middle of the night and watch her sleep because she directs the system to her bed. He watches her sleep. He can just log in without her knowing, and he gets to see everything that she's doing in her room and all like that. And then she says something again: don't be rigid. Make your rules. Ensure that your rules work for you. Now, quickly, the chemistry of relationship. The chemistry of relationship is the intimacy relationship. Is that part of you that always wants to see your partner. You know, when people say, I'm so in love, I can't do without him, I really want to see him or her, I just want to be with him, I just feel like holding him right now. It is natural. It is the chemistry aspect of intimacy. You know, there's this neuromediator, like it's like a secretion that your brain gets to release. It is called the phenylalanine. It's usually secreted, it's released when you see your partner. It's also it's a mediator. It's a chemical that is also present in some food substances like chocolates. That's why you see some partners, they try to share chocolates with each other and some other things like that. This is the chemistry of relationship. There's a lot about the chemistry of relationship that I'm not going to be talking about, but I just understand that chemistry of relationship is that feeling you get. You just always want to be around your partner. You just want to talk to him. You want to see him. It's usually built with trust. I tell you, for the chemistry of intimacy to be strong, there has to be trust. It is built over time when there is a personal bond. That is when there has to be a chemistry between the two of you for your relationship to work. If you don't feel your partner, if you don't have this urge to always see him, this urge to always, it makes you happy, it makes you laugh, and you just always want to be with him. That is the chemistry intimacy. If you don't get to feel this thing, I'm telling you, like, marriage can be maybe a bit boring, and you have to really check out your relationship, because you don't want to be with a man that's not going to make you happy the rest of your life, the remaining time of your life that you have to spend with him. Now, the cognitive or intellectual intimacy is the social aspect of intimacy. This is the time when you begin to share your thoughts with your partner, share your ideas, share your dreams. It's very important. Share your dreams. Tell him the things you love, the things you want to become, what you want to become, the things you love to do. You love to have pets. You love to have this and that. Share your ideas. And it's the level when you begin to enjoy your similarities. Oh, you love this, I love that too. Oh, you love cartoons, I love cartoons too. You love this, you love that. You share your similarities and also appreciate your differences. Now you have to understand that whoever you're dating is a different sex from you. Is a male and you are a female. Now, you don't expect everything to be same. There has to be some differences. Now, appreciate the differences. Bring it to a very level of understanding where you can actually understand yourself. I've really said a lot today, and I would really just like to stop here. I encourage you all to view my other videos, and I look forward to your comments and your likes. I would like to hear what you have to say about this intimacy so I can learn more, and the other viewers out there can also learn some more about intimacy. Thank you very much for staying with me today. I remain Queen Esther Adeyemo on Epsiba Show. Thank you.